completely made in India or assembled in India?
We are proudly made in India for India.
So can you create Chole Bhature candy? Come to Indian Community. I am Rahul Mehra and I'm joined with my co-host Amit Gupta. At Indian Community, we spotlight dynamic entrepreneurs reshaping our world. Today's guest is Priyanshu Bansal, founder of Arasha Foods, a trailblazer in kid-friendly confectionery. Priyanshu wants to be known as the Willy Wonka of India. Under Priyanshu's guidance, Arasha Food has rapidly grown into a beloved brand, demonstrating the power of bootstrapped ventures. Join us as we explore India's confectionery industry with Priyanshu, the challenges of breaking into the confectionery market, sustaining and also his expansion plans. Welcome to Indian Community.
Welcome to the Indian
Thank
Community,
you.
Priyanshu.
Thank you so much, sir. Firstly, thank you for the opportunity to having me on this podcast. It's lovely to be here and have a insightful discussion on this podcast.
That's great. Priyanshu, we are also very excited. You're a very young entrepreneur and building a product for the young generation and the future generation of India. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you go about starting Arasha Foods at this young age?
Sure. So at a very early age, my father, he always pushed me to a lot of trade fairs, all these exhibitions which used to happen in the offline market. I was always interested in the F&B space and how both these young brands work and how they capture the market share of these old MNCs, right? So one thing was pretty sure for me, I wanted to do something in the F&B space from at a very early age and something of my own, right? So I visited a lot of trade fairs which were happening in Dubai, in India. And during the COVID period, I got a lot of free time. There's a lot of, we had nothing to do, right? So I spent hours and hours doing a lot of research, analyzing, ये industry चलती कैसी है? How does market work? How does new brand, they conquer or they compete with these MNCs? And how does an overall offline journey works? So also as a kid, I was very much interested in this confectionery space. I love having a lot of innovative fun products which were not made in India. Uh, They were basically imports. And I used to get them at a modern trade store in Pune. And that each candy would cost us like 200, 300, 400. They were extremely costly, but I loved indulging in them. And later growing up, during my time, when I had a lot of time doing my research, I realized that the market is still the same, right? If you closely look at the confectionery market, there are three kind of players which are currently operating in India. So the biggest market for confectionery is Indore, right? Over there, all the manufacturers are there for confectionery. So number one, there are these Indore players, they operate in the 5 rupee category. And for them, price is a important factor. They don't play on the quality or the innovation. For example, they also have a Kinder Joy lookalike, which they sell at a MRP of 5 rupee. So these guys can basically do anything at rupee 5. And the second segment or the second category is MNCs like Ferrero, Property One Mill, and like whatever product they want to launch for them, the market has to be huge. It's like they launch at one product for whole India. So those MNCs, whatever product they launch, they make sure the market is huge, which is why they have to, keep a lot of products out of their Indian basket. If you the if you see the basket which they have in the US market, they have so many products, so many brands. The same company which is operating in India, they hardly have like 5 to 10% of the product portfolio, right? So the second category is MNCs, and the third category is basically the imports. Matlab, these local traders, they import these candies from Dubai and they sell in this modern trade and this good premium store. So what I realized is that there's a huge opportunity for an Indian brand to operate in the mass premium category where we can launch a lot of fun, cool, innovative confectionery products at 20, 30, 40 rupee price point which I feel it is a very good sweet spot in which we can give a good quality product, a better for you product, and also a fun interactive product which kids would like to indulge in. So that was the whole vision or the whole thought of launching Arasha Foods.
Great, great, Priyanshu. So, Priyanshu, you started at a very early age and, it was a new business for you. So, how easy or challenging is it to enter the confectionery market today, especially with the product that is focused on kids?
Right. So actually before starting, my father made it very clear to me, right? Whatever work or whatever business you're starting new, you have to give at least 1,000 days to, understand, or don't expect anything significant to happen in those first 1,000 days. So in the first, like I started this company in July 2022, right? The first 6 months, I used to manufacture those products. I used to go on the market. I used to understand the retailer. Whenever I used to take my product to the retailer, their first instinct was no, nahi chahiye. But they should not nahi chahiye, jao idhar se. Like they should treat me like a sales guy. And even I used to go to them as a sales representative. वो सोचेंगे if I go as a director, they will like कंपनी का director आया है, छोटी कंपनी है, जाओ उधर से. So like for 6 months, I acted as a sales rep of the company, where literally I used to keep 10, 15 cartoons in my car. I used to roam around the city and basically understand how does this retailer mindset or overall how does the industry operate, because our traditional business is into the real estate and we do a lot of trading activities, import, export. So for my father and me, this was a whole new segment, a whole new industry where we didn't know what does a super stockist do, or what is the role of each and every stakeholder in this industry. It was a question mark for me. So my thing was very clear ki, you should start and you will figure out a lot of things step by step. It's not important for you to know everything from day one.
Right, right.
So that is great. In fact, Rahul, when he was describing why he started Rasha Foods, I thought he's going to say, I was not allowed to eat chocolate, so I thought, let me start my own chocolate brand. फिर मुझे कोई नहीं रोक सकता.
Good point.
That
But
is
it's great, what? Get married and you will have kids and, are you married by any chance?
No, I'm just 22.
Are you just 22? No. Well, so if you get married, when you get married actually, and you'll have your kids, so, your kids will be the privileged ones of buying their sweet.
In fact,
Or
my sisters do joke around. So they are married, they're planning to have kids. So they
yeah.
always joke around that their kids would be so privileged, or they're so happy that they have like a candy factory in house.
Mom Candy
So we
Factory.
always right. So we always joke
ये
around.
And
ये मामू नहीं है, ये विली वोंका मामू है. So
Monga Mamu. Cool,
that is
cool.
really cool. So what is the type of investment that is required to set up a confectionery business like you did?
See, there is, I would divide this into two separate parts, right? So the first investment is done in the factory part, whatever machinery or whatever development or the NPD cost which I have to bear. And the significant other cost is in the cost which you have to bear to get into the offline market, the distribution or the marketing or the sales cost, which is as heavy or even more than the machinery cost.
So, do we have a number? Can you give a number of any kind?
So roughly we have invested around about 1.5 crores
Okay.
setting up the factory, and total we have invested 1.5 crores till now.
Okay. Okay. That's a fair number to start for anybody to start the new business. This is the amount they should.
And your
Actually, we started very small. So I just started with 30, 40 lakhs. And then we realized there's a lot of opportunities in different products, which is why we had to get new machinery and expand our factory. And that required a lot of funds.
So when you started this off, you started with how many products?
I just had one category, which is that ice popsicle category.
Okay.
We all remember that Pepsi Cola which we had in our childhood, right?
Correct.
So that was my only product which I had, and it was like a seasonal product. It would only work in summers.
Correct.
So, and with that single product, I used to go to the retailers, and while going to the retailers, I realized कि ऐसा products, मतलब इंडिया में कोई innovation है ही नहीं in the confectionery space. which is why I feel it was like an advantage for me to start with only one SKU or that one product
Correct.
because I understood ये market चलता कैसा है.
And you were
So
managing
can they?
all of this
Yeah.
in India? You're completely made in India or assembled in India, made somewhere else?
We are proudly made in India for India.
So pura ka
That's good.
pura brand, the everything, the packaging,
Everything,
the ingredients, everything is made in India.
everything.
That's great.
Like,
When you went to these shopkeepers with your first product, which is the ices or the Pepsi, that we used to call in our childhood, why would they choose you? How did you differentiate yourself from all the incumbent players?
to be honest, they didn't choose me. Matlab, Like if if I went to a retailer before starting this business, I thought I would give retailer good margin, a good product, a good looking product, और मेरा product रख लेगा.
Huh.
That was the whole thought. Yeah, इनकी retailer तो margin से मतलब है. उसको अच्छा margin देंगे, he'll keep my product.
Correct.
That's
And
an
that is
honest.
how I started.
That's an honest answer.
That is how I started. Yeah, I'll just make them greedy. But
Mhm.
when day by day, I started approaching these retailers, their first instinct would be no. And and later I understood why were they saying no. Because usually there are so many new products, so many new companies which approach them daily to keep their products. And if they start saying yes to everyone, it would be a disaster for them to keep a new product like 8, 10 products every day. So
Mhm.
I had to make like minimum 8, 10 visits to those retailers. And more importantly, I had to develop that relationship. Ki boss, I'm not going anywhere. Agar product ko kuch hota hai to I'll be ready to take it back. So when I
Mhm.
made that 8 or 10th visit, I developed that relationship. He used to greet me nicely. I used to greet him back. So with that relationship is when, he started keeping my products on the display. And that is how gradually the sales started.
So you went to a retailer at least 7 times. You knocked on their door and you asked for business,
100%.
and you received a
Right.
no, and
Right.
you still went back and you asked them for business again.
To be honest, it was very discouraging, or I didn't understand why they saying no. They're getting a good product, a new margin. So that was like a big, huge question mark for me. How would this operate? Or ये चलेगा कैसे for me? But now, after spending so much time in the offline market, I'm able to analyze, why were they saying no to me?
So how did you keep your morale high?
See, one thing, to keep my morale high, like the first 6 months, I kept my fixed cost pretty low, you know. Matlab, I just had my rent and I had one labor in the factory used to manufacture. So my fixed cost for the first initial months were hardly 50, 60,000. And I was able to get that money out. So for me, I was not bleeding, which is why, I was breathing, or, I had time to think, adapt, and analyze what I can do in future. And basically I got a lot of time to think ये market में करना क्या है आगे जाके,
Mhm.
because I kept my fixed cost very low.
What was the role of your family and friends when you were going through that tough time of rejections every day?
No, definitely my family, they play a very crucial role, right? To start a business at such a very early age. I incorporated this company when I was 20.
Mm.
To have that support from my parent, from my mom, dad, my grandfather, it is a huge, huge blessing, to get that support or that belief ki you can do this. So that is like my unfair advantage, ki I have that family with me, which they help me in those, that up and down time, and definitely it plays a very important role.
Correct.
Very true. Right. So, Priyanshu, let's come back to the industry thing. So, what are the current trends in the, confectionery industry and how are you aligning with those?
See, the confectionery market in India is roughly around $2.5 to $3 billion,
Mhm.
right? And there's a lot of, in fact, if you see a lot of MNCs like Lotte, they're setting up new plants. They just, they set up a plant in UP. So
Mhm.
these MNCs, they are usually investing in India because they've seen India the consumption abhi the confectionery which hardly it's you can't even compare it to US, right? So the opportunity is very huge, which is why a lot of MNCs are placing their bets. They are investing very heavily in the machinery in their plant. So that is one thing which these MNCs are investing very much in the industry. The second trend which I'm noticing in the confectionery space is parents are getting a bit aware what are they giving to their kids, right? So that better for you thing I'm noticing in every category, whether that's snacks, beverage, there's always a better for you product which is coming up and competing with these MNCs. So for the confectionery space, I am looking at a lot of better for you products, but I feel it is a huge there's a lot of time for the confectionery space to have that product. And in the confectionery market, there are a lot of new flavors coming in. And you see a lot of these MNCs, they are using natural flavors, natural colors, and they're marketing that very cleverly in their packaging. So they have started to use good ingredients in their products and they are marketing that.
So do you have any of your
All right.
products handy, Priyanshu?
Sure, sure. So like this is like one of the product which we launched a few months back, right?
Okay.
So this is like a lollipop,
Okay.
and we have designed it in a such a way, right? So over here in the compartment, we have given a lollipop which is sweet, right? And over here, there's a squeezable container which has a sour liquid. So what you
Nice.
have to do is you have to drizzle the liquid on the candy and have it.
Mhm.
So
So the
खट्टा मीठा
flavor,
So it's a sweet
दोनों खट्टा
product.
मीठा
ha,
दोनों
Khadda
right,
meetha.
and plus the kids like that sweet and sour taste, which they
Yeah.
are able to customize.
दैट्स
Right.
हाँ वो अपने कंट्रोल में है ना कितना डालना है क्या करना है मीठा चाहिए तो
Right.
मत डाल
Right. And
Right.
in fact, one more benefit of this product is like the kid can keep it back. There's
हम्म
no need for the kid to have it in one go.
हाँ
So आजकल, if a kid open a wrapper of a lollipop, they have to consume it in one go, or they either throw it.
Mhm.
वो 2 घंटे तक चल
So
फिर वरना लॉलीपॉप वो
in fact, I've heard parents say like this candy has been consumed over a week.
करेक्ट
Mhm.
थोड़ा बच्चा खाली makes a few licks and keep it back.
which is very helpful also, right? Because if you think of sugar and oral health, right? If you're having a lollipop for multiple hours, then that is going to create trouble in your teeth, right? So if
Right.
this is good where you can just have it for a short period and then uh, pack it and keep it aside. So this is a good innovation that you're doing, Priyanshu. What else do you do to differentiate from Arasha Foods versus all the other big brands that you mentioned, right? So you have a David versus Goliath sort of a battle going on in this 2.3, $2.5 billion industry. How are you differentiating yourselves when you, in terms of your marketing, advertising, positioning, how do you do that?
So firstly, in the category which we operate, right? So we do a lot of sour candies, right? Matlab khatta candies, in which that market is still at a very nascent stage, but it is very rapidly developing in India. And that market for an MNC is too small for him to enter, right? So first is that our category is a bit different. Our products, taste, profile, it is highly differentiated from these MNCs, right? Second is our product positioning. We are in that mass premium segment where, we have priced our products at 20, 30, 40, where we feel there's a lot of youth, there's a lot of white space, and there are hardly any people competing in that price range. So first is the category, second is the positioning, and the third is, we are using a lot of better ingredients compared to these other players, right? For example, uh, we have a watermelon flavor, right? So the color of the watermelon is been derived from beetroot. So that is how the natural color is coming for the lollipop. So we are using a lot of good ingredients for the kid, which are better than the MNCs.
Mhm.
So, Priyanshu, when
That's great.
did this, you did not have any previous FMCG or manufacturing background. So, what about these regulatory, um, you know, requirements? So, how did you go through that? What kind of regulatory compliance do you meet already?
See, to be honest, it's very sad in India for you to set up any manufacturing, especially related to food. There are hardly any regulations, right? You just need a basic FSSI license and you need to get your packaging sorted, whatever is the basic information you are required to display. Other than that, there is no other regulation or that authority which looks into your manufacturing space, or how you're keeping the track of your product quality, which is very, it's not that there in India. So you just need a basic FSSI license for you to get started.
Okay. So just that license, and that is also an important step, right? So if you've got that license, you've basically got everything that the government requires you to have, and
Right.
you're moving forward with that. So I appreciate your request for more stringent laws, but considering what the laws of the land are today, you're applying and you're following them. So that is definitely interesting and
Right.
commendable.
So, Priyanshu, moving forward, what is your actually product development and marketing strategies for the future?
So for any new product development, I do look at, what exactly my consumers want or who exactly are my consumers are. For example, the lollipop, which I showed you, right? What I've done is I have divided two sides of my consumers. एक consumer जो खुद से अपना wrapper खोल सकता है of the lollipop. He doesn't need the parent to open the wrapper. For him, this lollipop is perfect, right? वो खुद से wrapper खोल सके खा सकता है. Which basically means children above 6 and 7 years above. So what I realized is there's one more category or that one more segment in which I'm missing is children aged between 2 to 6 years old, right? जिसको basically parent wrapper खोल के बच्चे को देता है. So in that the customer is the parent and the consumer are the kids. So for that, in a month or so, we are launching a better for you lollipop. That will be like a simple plain जो lollipop का जो packaging आता है, it will be the same packaging. But in that, we'll be using natural flavors, natural colors. We are trying to reduce the amount of sugar and we are reducing the per serving of the lollipop, which basically means बच्चा एक time पे कम sugar खाएगा. So we are getting into that better for you थोड़ा healthy category जिसको एक parent, that brand which will appeal to parents and it will be a better for you product.
Right. That's
How
good.
do you get feedback for your products? Because feedback to generally, when you if it is a product, like you said, you have customer, you have consumer. Your customer is your parent. The consumer is actually the child who is very young. So how did you go about getting feedback for your products? Did you do any kind of tasting with kids?
See, to be honest, it's very difficult to get any feedback for my products. If you take any candy or any sugar-based product to a kid, it's most likely he's going to like it. Because the sugar or flavor is going to like that product. So to get feedback, it takes time. I have to literally get inside their brain and understand by their face expressions or how eager are they or how interested are they to consume that candy. For them to describe कि इसमें flavor कम है or is not attractive, it's difficult. So I have to understand from their actions, and parents do play a role, but to get a feedback from parent is difficult. So I have to pay close attention to the actions of the consumer.
So how do you do that?
Well,
Or how do you get that feedback?
Well, actually, what we do is we do a lot of this flea markets, which locally happen in our locality. So they basically give you a small stall in which you can display your products. So the benefit of that flea market is right. I'm able to interact to my consumer directly, right? So a lot of these consumer, for example, we did a flea market in December in Mumbai. So a lot of kids came asking to me कि इसके अंदर कलर है क्या? If it has color, I'm not allowed to consume. जिससे मेरे को एक समझा कि forget the parent. Even kids nowadays are getting conscious or aware of what they are consuming. So this flea markets or any type of market in which you are able to interact directly to your consumer definitely helps getting any type of feedback.
No, that is very good. I think with the kids, thanks to people like Revant, Himat Singh, the food farmer of India, right? There's a lot of awareness about sugar and color. Uh, उसका एक होली पे पोस्ट था about the color and the dyes that are used in the products that
Right.
you consume. आप
Right.
देखा होगा, right? So
Right. Yes.
there's a lot of awareness that is building up, and young entrepreneurs like you should be prepared to uh, answer these questions that your consumers are going to ask you in the near future. They're going to ask you इसमें sugar कितना है, इसमें color कौन सा है. There are these
No,
questions that are
so
definitely going to come up.
yeah, also to
Right.
encash an opportunity, in this. There's a great
I feel
opportunity in this.
I I feel the number one problem in India is false marketing. Right. But for example, if you look at Kinder Joy, right, it's been positioned as a daily snack.
Mhm.
Like if you see the packaging of Kinder Joy, there's like a glass of milk. They'll say it has vitamins, and they'll advertise that product as a daily snack, which you're supposed to consume it daily, which is ultimately not good for your health. So if you
Mhm.
see all our marketing or whatever our marketing, channels, whatever we do in marketing, we promote our candies as indulgence, right? In which you're supposed to not have it every day, like once in a while, maybe once, twice, thrice a month, right? So we don't do any type of false marketing in which we say it is like a daily snack. It gives you boost. It might give you energy. We don't do any sort of false marketing. So the major issue is the false marketing part. And also a lot of these MNCs, they position the products in a very different angle. Like, for example, a biscuit would have more sugar than a lollipop. Those Jim Jam biscuits or that hide and seek are more harmful than these candies. So I feel to advertise what exactly your products are is also very important. And that could definitely help us in future. कि जो product है, we are actually showing it to our parents. Yeah, इसके अंदर sugar है तो है. But it's not meant for you to consume it daily.
That's right. That's right. So transparency, you say, is another thing which is very important, and you are clinging
Right.
on to transparency. And do you
Right.
think helps in the business?
See, I feel definitely a lot of these customers, right? They are, they have started to look at the back of the kitchen. कि इसके अंदर what type of ingredients are going inside the product. So consumers nowadays, they have, with so much social media influence and
Right.
people like a lot of influencers. So consumers are getting aware कि, what exactly are they feeding or giving to their consumers.
That's it. Yeah.
So, what is your opinion about sustainability? Do you practice sustainability in your manufacturing processes, or in your packaging? Is that something that is on your agenda?
Definitely, that is on our agenda. But for a confectionery company in which kid is supposed to have fun. For example, this packaging, it's made of plastic, right? For me to find any other alternative is very difficult. So in terms of packaging, right, in which where we do have a lot of options. For example, we do have a lot of paper alternatives. So we do a lot of eco-friendly packaging for our for our displays, right? And in our production, we make sure minimal wastage, right? For example, whatever water we are using in our facility to clean our tanks or our machinery. So we'll make sure, how to make minimum use of resources, natural resources, and slowly, we do have few plans in future where we are going to pay attention to sustainability. But to be honest, at this stage, we aren't paying that much attention to sustainability.
That's great. That's again honest and transparent answer. So, Priyanshu, uh, what are the considerations for a confectionery brand looking to expand internationally? I mean, is it on cards for you for Arasha Foods?
Actually, the kind of products which we have, there's a huge opportunity for us to export in the European markets. Now, whatever these indoor players, they're manufacturing, their biggest market for them is the African market. But for us, we have a lot of opportunity to get our products in the European market. And since we have the benefit of having our own factory and having our factory in India, to have such cheap resources, cheap labor. So we have that huge cost advantage where we can, sell our products in European market, in which, the products are also sold at a very high prices in this market. So there's good margins and definitely a lot of interest.
Speaking about internationally, now when I go to any of these, and I'm talking about Indian grocery chains here in the US, the confectionery that I see will be as old as Fatafat Goli and Swad and Pan Pasand, then the Santre Ki Goli. We find all those formats very very easily, and of course the other brands that you see in India, from the Kinder Joys or to Five Star and Cadbury, and everything is available here. Most of it is coming from India. Now, with a lot of these brands, there is a nostalgic element to it, because people who have grown up eating that will remember that, or they'll be able to recognize that and say, okay, I want to buy this. Now, how do you think you're going to meet the needs of this kind of customer who has not tried your products in the past, right? And if you want to go and sell internationally, or even create that demand, what is going to be your strategy to get there? You might tell me that, Amit, I don't have a strategy for that today. But if you do have a strategy and you want to talk about it, or if you are looking for partners that can help you with that, so you can also express that if you're open to um importers and distributors to reach out to you.
So to be honest, we have a lot of these wholesalers, have been working for decades in the confectionery market. Like, for example, we have a very good wholesaler in Australia who's very keen, to import all our products. In fact, he's also visiting our factory next month because he sees a huge opportunity in the kind of products which we are doing, right? And the cost advantage which we have. So definitely we are open to, partnering with with these partners who have so much experience, and most importantly, the network which they have in the distribution channel. So for us, that is a very important factor.
So that's great. Yeah, so I wish you a lot of good luck with that, Priyanshu. We would be really excited to see Made in India candy brand establish its presence all over the world. So I am truly hopeful that you do that. In fact, one of my suggestions would be to also explore Indian origin flavors into your
Right,
right, because there is a lot of demand for Indian origin flavors these days. And if you see some of the other brands in your category, like the Kodesi, set of products,
right.
they're also experimenting with a lot of these flavors which people can relate to. So I would encourage you to look at those as strategies for your international
Right,
expansion.
right. 100%.
That's
So can you create chole bhature candy? Just kidding. That would be for adults.
छोले भटूरे छोड़ दो, फालसे की बनाओ.
Falsi ki bana lo. That's the real idea.
Are you aware of what is the falsa, Priyanshu? I think
No.
Priyanshu lives in Maharashtra, so he's not aware of falsa. So falsa is a very North Indian, Delhi, Haryana sort of a. It's a berry. Okay, it's a traditional Indian berry. In fact, I can find falsa over here, frozen falsa. I can find in US. Okay,
Oh, wow.
I who used to live in India, in Bombay, Pune, I would never find falsa.
It's sweet and sour. Quite sour actually at times.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also at times.
I'll definitely put it.
The falsa flavor, because that is something that will also make someone like me buy, because if we see like a falsa juice or a falsa shake, out here in the US, we immediately say, go for it.
But I stand for chole bhature. I think chole bhature has a lot of calories in it, and I'm sure your candy is not going to have those many calories. So
100%.
वो
you
छो
never know.
छोले का
Might
मसाला
market
डाल
for
दो
it.
अंदर, जैसे वो पल्स की गोली होती थी ना.
Yes, 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 yes. Chalo.
It's great.
So, but we'll have a rapid fire round for you in the end. And these are just casual questions, and we want you to answer them, the top of whatever comes to your mind. So, ready for
Sure.
it?
100%.
All right. So, your first question is early bird or a night owl? What describes you best when it comes to your productivity?
Only word.
Early bird. Right.
What is your favorite confectionery as a kid?
I love this brand called Warhead. So all
What was
their products.
Warheads.
Right. It is a US brand.
Mhm.
what is
So all their
what is the name of the chocolate, or what is the candy called?
so they do a lot of sour candies like hard boiled sour candies, sour sprays, the sour gel. So it's all sour.
Oh, okay. Warheads. I can see them now. So that's your favorite. Hmm,
Mhm.
Right.
That's good.
So, by any chance, do you read books?
I do, but to be honest, not a lot.
Okay,
I
fine. And we'll
these
skip our next question. Okay, but by any chance, if you have to name a favorite book of yours, what will that?
see recently I've just read this book, Harsh Realities, that was based on the founder of Marico
That's
Industries, Harsh Mariwal. How how he what was his insight on launching parachute oil
Mhm.
and how he made that Saffola brand so successful. So I
Great,
really enjoyed reading that book, and especially the insights which he had on his product and on his consumer was pretty interesting for me.
great, great.
Rachel, I typically bring up one other book when it comes to consumer goods, and I think it is very applicable for someone like you, uh, who's trying to create your own name in this crowded category. This book is called "The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid" by C.K.
Okay,
Prahlad. I would recommend that you find that book and read that, because
definitely.
it is especially for um, how do you build a brand and be present at the bottom of the pyramid and make sure that your brand is selling to people who need them. I would recommend you to read that.
And by that book, please tell Dr. Prahlad that we have recommended it. Maybe some commission. Because I mean, recommending it all over.
Yeah, I've been recommending that book for a long time now, so I should go and ask Mr. Prahlad for my referrals. Perfect. If not confectionery, then what would Priyanshu be doing?
It's not confectionery, I would be surely in the FMB space. If not confectionery, maybe I would be into snacks, these healthy snacks, makhanas, all those healthy chips made out of millets, ragi chips, and all. It's like a healthy snacking brand.
मखाना ने तो यहाँ पर यूएस में आग लगा रखी है.
100%.
Arjun,
It's doing huge.
You know what is the irony, Rahul? Uh, I'll buy
yeah.
a large pack of makhana, which is unsalted, unroasted, right? Like the default version. It is still cheaper than buying a small bag of masala makhana, which has got a lot of oil and spices and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
the one that is raw and untouched is much more cheaper, and we can always, it takes 30 seconds in the microwave to get it ready. But the makhana market in the US is blowing out of proportion, because I think the Western customer or the Western consumer has realized what is the importance of consuming makhana. So it is interesting.
So it's same here. It's same here also. And for somebody like me who we have seen makanas, spilling over and lying uh, uselessly in
Correct.
after in our festivals, and nobody used to pick them up.
Correct.
कभी कभी खीर में डल जाता था थोड़ा सा, but otherwise it had no use at
Uh,
that time. So for me, pick up a 100 rupee packet or a 150 rupee packet from Makhana, you know, just, call them fox nuts. That's
Uh,
what you call them.
Correct.
Yeah,
Fox
it's Fox now.
nuts. So, and you increase the price by 10 times. So that's not that. I mean, for a person like me who has seen it free, it has health value. Of course, it has. Now, your last question is your Willy Wonka question, your dream collaboration.
Which company or brand hope would you like to collaborate?
This is actually a very interesting question, and I'll have to give it a nice thought. I guess it would be Ferrara company from US. So they have lot of interesting categories, lot of products, and the kind of innovation which they do is mind-boggling. We can't even think of that innovation. Like the kind of products which they have is really fascinating. So for me to collaborate with them, it would be a huge, huge milestone for me.
So is the Ferrara the same as the Ferrero Rocher? Is that the same parent company?
No, that is different company.
Okay,
So the
so
only
Ferrara
difference
as
is
a
they end with the O.
right. So Ferrara, I see it now. The Laffy Taffy and yes, okay,
Right,
correct.
right,
Jelly Bellies, the Jelly Bellies.
right,
Correct,
right.
correct. That is, yeah, those are really interesting Jelly Bellies. So they have so many flavors. Sometimes it's very difficult to figure out uh, which flavor you're having, but it's a unique
Right.
mix. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, Priyanshu. We really enjoyed speaking to you, and we are cheering for you. We do hope that you become the Willy Wonka of India as you aspire to be. It is, in fact, the Willy Wonka should then say that, okay, I want to be the Priyanshu Bansal of India, right? So that should be the aspiration.
I'll have I'll have to change my name and have to make it more fancy for that to happen.
No, Priyanshu Bansal is itself fancy, right? So uh, he's the guy who is spreading joy with the candies, right? किसी का मुंह खट्टा, किसी का मुंह मीठा. तो भाई अभी हम लोग टैगलाइंस लिखना शुरू कर देंगे. But yeah, it was wonderful speaking to you, Priyanshu. We love your energy. We love your passion. We also are thankful to your parents for supporting you at this young age to hopefully build an empire, a legacy for many, many generations.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
this.
so much, sir. It was lovely talking to you. I had a great time talking with.
Thank you.